Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. You can see by this picture who I'm talking about today, so get ready. But first, let me show you something.
Cyber war, information warfare playing out with sock puppets and fake Twitter accounts. This is something the CIA has used since its creation, using the media, the popular media at the time, to push out its propaganda. In 1960, they had Radio Swan on the Honduran island of Swan Island in the Caribbean. It was used to pump out propaganda for the Bay of Pigs invasion. Now we're seeing Twitter being used, obviously, to foment the rebellion in Libya.
So is this a lot of hullabaloo over nothing? Is this just the next generation of psychological operations?
That's exactly what it is. And you look back at the history of the CIA manipulating the media at the time, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. What's interesting is George Soros took over a lot of the Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty functions, and Radio Free Asia. He obviously has been involved with many.
Did you hear the name he said? George Soros. Remember that name, George Soros. I'm going to come back to it.
These NGOs that have been responsible for some of these activities in these countries where we've seen rebellions. Not that the rebellions themselves were wrong, but people like Soros and the CIA, who works closely with them, try to co-opt these rebellions, soft landings.
Soros and the CIA?
Well, they're very connected because Soros took over this Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty archives in Prague. Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty were CIA fronts funded by the CIA. So we see all these connections between this Central Intelligence Agency, USAID, National Endowment for Democracy, and George Soros' Open Society Institute and Foundation.
Well, just because there are...
All right, so back to that name, George Soros. Well, as you can see, upon Miss Kim Foxx being investigated for her corrupt actions, it was uncovered that George Soros gave Kim Foxx $400,000. I wonder why. George Soros, who's connected to the CIA. And even though the CIA are not supposed to be doing anything over here in U.S. grounds, obviously, they're doing a lot.
Secrets of the FBI. Number 10. Disney. Throughout the late 1940s to 50s, alleged communist sympathizers working in Hollywood were barred from working in the entertainment industry. In order to identify communist sympathizers, government agencies, including the FBI, relied on Hollywood informers to shed light on the activities.
Did you know Disney worked for the FBI?
Of their peers. One such FBI informant was animator Walt Disney, who served the Bureau from 1940 until his death in 1966. He even publicly accused his own animators of being communist when they went on strike in 1941. In return for Disney's cooperation, J. Edgar Hoover allowed Disney to film in FBI headquarters, whilst Disney allowed the FBI to edit his script for an episode of the Mickey Mouse Club to ensure the entertainers painted the Bureau in a positive light. Number 9. Hoover's sexuality.
Ultra. Now, it's no surprise that the CIA have been up to a whole load of shenanigans over the years, but despite all the coups, drug smuggling, and that time they put a bomb inside a camel, this actually happened, to fight the Soviets in Afghanistan, we've settled for Project MK Ultra. For 2 decades, starting in the 1950s, the CIA tried to develop mind control techniques. Only problem was that in order to learn these techniques, they carried out hundreds of illegal experiments on innocent people without their consent, usually dosing them with LSD. One plan involved using prostitutes to lure unsuspecting test subjects back to a CIA safe house where they'd be given cocktails laced with acid. Now that might sound like a great night out, but in actual fact, CIA operatives would then watch the effect and the sex from behind a two-way mirror like a government-paid pervert. The little scheme was named Operation Midnight Climax, so at least the CIA do have a sense of humour even if they don't have a conscience. Please don't kill me, CIA. Just on a little joke. You like a joke, don't you? They even conducted experiments in Canada that involved giving patients electroshock therapy 40 times the normal dose. Many had their memories destroyed or were left with the mental age of a toddler. Adjusted for inflation, this project cost over $100 million and has been linked to the death of at least one CIA agent, Frank Olson, who threw himself out of a 13th floor window after secretly being given a dose of LSD in 1953. The project became public knowledge in 1975, but 2 years before that, the CIA destroyed almost every document connected to MKUltra. To be fair though, they were probably out of their minds on acid when they did it. Number
you all for gathering. The recent allegations against entertainer R. Kelly and the recent Lifetime docuseries are deeply, deeply disturbing. It is our job here at the Cook County State's Attorney's Office to investigate claims in the interest of justice and of public safety. I should stress that it takes the courage to relive and repeatedly re-experience trauma by telling your story of sexual victimization.
Pause. What she failed to tell the public is that anytime, like most of these women that came forward, they've come forward before, like Jerron Pace. You know why? Because she's getting a settlement, or she got a settlement, and she signed an NDA. So, with that being said, they've always investigated allegations, and they haven't found anything that they could criminally charge R. Kelly with. So that's why they held this press conference. And this was the very moment that I was turned off by this lady here.
But we rely heavily on victim accounts and witness statements to prosecute cases involving sexual assault and domestic violence. I'm here today to encourage victims of sexual assault or domestic violence related to these allegations to please get in touch with our office.
Now, the more I think about this, the more it becomes blatantly obvious. They already had people in line. They already had these so-called accusers from the surviving R. Kelly docuseries. So now that I look back on this, it just seems like to me this was all for the public, to create commotion within the public. Because she wasn't really looking for anybody to come forward. She already had people, in my personal opinion.
Please come forward. There is nothing that can be done to investigate these allegations without the cooperation of both victims and witnesses. We cannot seek justice without you. Yes, concerns from family members regarding contact their family members with Mr. Kelly over the course of the last couple of years.
Have you talked to Mr. Kelly about it?
I have not. Certainly. I understand that fear. As a survivor of sexual assault myself, the fear and the trauma of coming and sharing your story, not just with one individual, not just with one prosecutor, the notion of having to come and publicly make allegations is incredibly daunting. What I will say,
it's funny you say that, because these accusers had no problem going to the media, the bloggers, participating in the surviving R. Kelly docuseries. So I'm confused. Seemed like to me they had absolutely no problem talking about these accusations.
Is that if we are going to take these allegations seriously, it requires, this isn't one of those situations where it's just forensics. We need actual witnesses and victims to have the courage to tell their stories. If they have concerns about further victimizations of others, it becomes necessary to have the courage to come forth and tell what happened. We cannot do anything related to these allegations without the cooperation of victims and witnesses, and that is why I'm here today to encourage anyone who has information to please come forward. To come to his studio. Robert Kelly told the victim after her dad dropped her off at school, she could take a cab to his studio. The victim followed Robert Kelly's instructions. At that first encounter at Robert Kelly's studio, located at 865 North Larrabee in Chicago, Cook County, Illinois, Robert Kelly had difficulty maintaining an erection and penetrated the victim repeatedly vaginally and orally. Afterwards, Robert Kelly told the victim to get an envelope.
What the hell point was it to be so specific about this? Now, again, you went from the first press conference calling out all the victims. Please come give us evidence. Come give us your testimony. We'll look this information up. To now you announcing these charges. Alright, Kim Foxx.
With money from the receptionist.
And another thing. You gonna tell us this story talking about the girl skipped school. Wait a minute. This 16-year-old girl left school, took a cab, went to R. Kelly's. So you mean to tell me they allowed this girl to leave school without nobody permission? And you mean to tell me you believe this story that she gets an envelope of money and she thought it was for cab money? Man, get the fuck out of here. You know what that money was for. I'm sorry, I was mistaken. That was Heather Williams' account. But let me just pause there because as we all see now, the judge has ordered for the attorneys to stop speaking about the new evidence. Well, last time I checked, that was supposed to be an unwritten rule. Like, if you pay attention to Steve Greenberg, the only thing that he'll come out and say is something to shut down the unnecessary bullshit that's going around in the media. But other than that, he's not speaking on the case. Why? Because this case is not supposed to be held in the public court. At the end of the day, they have courthouses for this to be talked about. And it's crazy that we sat here and watched this lady get on her podium and entice people to come forward and tell stories about this man. Then you want to come back and give out all these details which don't even make any sense. It's just crazy. Y'all was soliciting, so to try to cover up the fact that this girl out here thotting and shit, man, if y'all don't stop playing with us.
And that the victim assumed that that money was to pay for the cab rides to and from Robert Kelly's studio. The envelope contained a large sum of money, more than was needed to pay for the 2 cab rides. The victim had similar sexual encounters about once a month with Robert Kelly from May 26, 1998 to May 25th, 1999.
So in all this period, this so-called victim continues to date this person, even though they're trying to portray now that it was so wrong. They give the details that he's giving her money and she's playing dumb like I thought it was for a cab. Be for real.
The second victim, RL, was involved.
Y'all heard it. So this victim is meeting with R. Kelly once a month, routinely, getting paid. Does this for a year and waits, let's see, almost a decade after the fact. Okay.
In an incident which occurred between September 26, 1998 and September 25, 2001. A grand jury returned an indictment on 2 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse based on the victim being under the age of 17 and Robert Kelly being more than 5 years older than the victim. In 2001, a witness
Now, that is who I believe is Rashonda Landfair, the same girl from the first sex tape, same girl from this new sex tape. I ain't gonna even comment again on what I think about this new sex tape, but whatever.
Had conversations with Robert Kelly and Robert Kelly's associates, where the witness was asked to retrieve videotapes showing Robert Kelly having sexual intercourse with the victim in this case when she was only 14 years old.
That witness, Lisa Van Allen, talking about the 14-year-old victim, Rashonda Landfair.
Witness obtained that video and watched it. The witness eventually turned this video over to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office through his attorney. The witness has identified the girl in the video as the girl he knows to be the niece of S.E. Additionally, the witness identified the scenes from the video as having been from Robert Kelly's house located at 1 Melrose Lane, Olympia Fields, Cook County, Illinois. In the video, the victim repeatedly says she is 14 years old. Additionally, the witness identified the scenes from the video as having been from Robert Kelly's house located at 1 Melrose Lane, Olympia Fields, Cook County, Illinois. The witness eventually turned this video over to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office through his attorney. The witness has identified the girl in the video.
Did y'all catch how crazy this is? This witness somehow came across this tape. And again, instead of taking this tape to the police department, they go get an attorney. But again, we just see how much information they start off giving to the public. Why? Because they're trying to manipulate the public's emotions. And now all of a sudden that we're calling these liars out, they want to hide the evidence. Y'all should have been doing it. At the end of the day, due process has been overlooked.
As the girl he knows, her niece, the victim in this case. By Robert Kelly upon any part of the body of the victim for the purpose of sexual to his penis. Robert Kelly grabbed the victim by the head and tried to force her mouth onto his exposed penis, but the victim was able to resist. Robert Kelly then masturbated and ejaculated onto the victim and spit in her face several times. The shirt the victim was wearing was submitted to the Illinois State Police for DNA testing, and the semen was identified on the shirt. The male DNA identified in the semen sample is a match to Robert Kelly's DNA profile. The fourth victim, JP, was involved.
When did y'all get a sample from R. Kelly? So you mean to tell me some semen samples lay dormant on a shirt for over a decade? Be for real. So what did y'all do with the shirt? Put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer, stored it? What y'all do with that? Make this shit make sense.
Involved in incidents which occurred between May 1st, 2009 and January 31st, 2010. A grand jury returned an indictment on 3 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, on the victim being under the age of 17 and Robert Kelly being more than 5 years older than the victim.
So I'm pretty much done with going back over Kim Foxx's role. The first part of the video, I just wanted to put a little information out there, see what you thought about it. It's mighty funny that this lady, Kim Foxx, has a very, very huge supporter by the name of George Soros. This man has been connected to a lot of political figures. This man also has a nephew who was listed in the context of Jeffrey Epstein. So it may be beneficial for this George Soros to commission other people to keep the focus off Jeffrey Epstein, which will essentially bring down people like Bill Clinton, Trump, and the list goes on. Why not sacrifice this man who has had these allegations against him for so long than to actually punish the men you know are guilty for pedophilia? And now is being investigated for that role. Who's going to investigate her for her role in this corruption with this R. Kelly case? Clearly, she has her hand in a lot of pots, and a lot of people are financially backing this lady behind closed doors. Why? In the process of trying to free Jussie Smollett and get his case dropped, this here is a message that was sent in which she clearly says she's supposed to be recused from the case, but clearly she's still acting in the background. And even refers to R. Kelly as a pedophile with 4 victims and 10 counts, calling him a washed up celeb. Really? I'm guaranteeing this is evidence of misconduct. Not only that, she was also in cahoots with Tina Chin. And if you don't know who Tina Chin is, she is part of the Time's Up agenda. Let's find Tina Chin. Tina Chin, right here. As you can see, Tina Chin acted in the White House as an assistant to Barack Obama and was very close to Michelle Obama. Time's up, because we see right through the bull crap. All of these people are pushing this Time's Up agenda. But I say we reverse that and let them know the time is up for them. They have played on everybody's emotions, and we see the emails, we see the text messages solidifying the fact that it's okay for them to bend the rules for people they favor, and at the same time maliciously prosecute others. Not only does Kim Foxx have ties with Tina Chin, she also has ties with this lady, Kamala Harris, who I guess is running for president this coming election. But if this is the way you roll, no, no, no. As you can see, Kamala Harris is pictured with Jussie Smollett in his Time's Up. And you see Kamala Harris with Kim Foxx. As I told y'all before, all these people are connected and they're all playing a role. Why would an attorney take evidence to media before giving it to the prosecutors? That's exactly what Avenatti did. He called himself getting the sex tapes, taking them to broadcasting agencies such as CNN. And then he had his little secret meetings with Kim Foxx. No one is going to mention the other cases Kim Foxx has also been given the side eye about. And I find it odd that Jedediah Brown was seen pictured with Kim Foxx multiple times when he called himself advocating against her with the Jamel Robertson case. And you have Tia Ewing reporting on this. So she's fully aware of the corruption with Kim Foxx. Yet she so anxiously reports on anything Kim Foxx has to say about R. Kelly. Then you got John Legend advocating for Kim Foxx. Tells you a lot. They are all pushing the same agenda. And I think it's pretty clear now. If nothing else, Kim Foxx should be investigated for malicious prosecution and misconduct. Not only with Jussie Smollett, with every case she has put her hands on. If she has did this in one case, you're not going to tell me she hasn't made a hobby in doing this. Supporters have come up with photos of Kim Foxx at R. Kelly's concert. The Time's Up movement is very obvious. Even the judge is connected to Kim Foxx. Judge John Fitzgerald Like Jr. Crazy. Kim Foxx said she wanted to dismiss the Jussie Smollett case because she didn't want to waste any capital on celebrity case that might waste the taxpayers' money. Yet it was okay to waste the tax people's money on false allegations with no evidence. That's why they want to seal the documents now, because they have no evidence, clearly. And it's funny, that same judge was over Jussie Smollett's case. So I think he should be investigated as well for misconduct. Many people have called out Kim Foxx for her double standards. But the funny thing is, a lot of you and a lot of people that follow social media will never know about this, because that is not what's going to be pumped out over the media. This is the reason they keep flooding the internet with all this false information, is to keep the information that's real, valid, and can be verified from coming to light. But the thing is, what's done in the dark always sees light. So sadly, Kim Foxx is going to have her day. All those people who have jumped on this surviving R. Kelly bandwagon will have their day. This report says Kim Foxx faces up to 20 years in jail if convicted of corruption. So with that being said, if she's facing these charges for corruption as a prosecutor, would that not again be valid reason to have this case thrown out? You have the prosecutor that's corrupt, the attorneys that are corrupt. They have tainted the evidence. The witnesses are unreliable and uncredible. They have no case, as I've said before. And if you support R. Kelly, again, keep those hashtags rolling. Free R. Kelly, unmute R. Kelly, vindicate R. Kelly, justice for R. Kelly. Whatever you see out there, you don't have to share it, because you are also contributing to the false news that is being spread. And what some of you fail to realize is you share this with the intent of something else, but then you got a lot of slow people out here in the world that probably will half read it. If they read it at all, they'll probably just take the title and share and run with it. So I really, really wish everybody would stop sharing the fake news. If nothing else, why not just retype what you sum up the article to be and post that instead of sharing the article itself?
Petition for a special prosecutor. In her petition, she argues Smollett received special treatment, and there's a perception justice was not served. In an editorial last week in the Chicago Tribune, she wrote, "The rank and file prosecutors are disgusted, and so am I. We are a world-class city. We deserve a world-class justice system, not one that is the joke of the talk shows." Her petition is the second to be filed. Yesterday, a former state's attorney who worked under Fox also asked presiding criminal court judge Leroy Martin Jr. to appoint someone new to take a fresh look at the case. It's a case that's considered a bit unprecedented. State's attorney Kim Foxx dropping all charges against Smollett and only asking that he forfeit his bond in return, not plead guilty. He had been charged with disorderly conduct for allegedly filing a false police report claiming he had been the victim of a hate crime.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one.
After charges were dropped, city lawyers demanded he pay them back for the $130,000 investigation that ensued. Yesterday, Smollett fought back. His lawyer sent this letter to the city. They accused Chicago of trying to harass and intimidate Smollett, hinting that he might sue Chicago for defamation if he's not allowed to move on with his life. Today, the mayor refused to tell reporters if the city would take further legal action against the TV star.
That's in court, and I'm not focused on it at all, nor is the city. And we're doing all the other work we got to get done.
He deferred questions to the corporation counsel.
Thanks.
And then tried to dodge more questions.
You just asked the same question 3 times.
Today, Mayor-elect Lori Lightfoot was a bit more definitive.
I understand that this is a topic of great fascination for some, but we've got 10,000 things that we need to deal with in the city. Jussie Smollett doesn't rank on that list for me.
Mayor Emanuel had been critical of Kim Foxx when that case was dropped. Today, though, he said he is totally against the idea of her stepping down, but he does want her to answer questions that people still have about this case.
And people certainly do.
That's crazy. They totally against her stepping down, but want some answers. That don't make sense. Does that not give y'all a clue that some powerful people are behind Kim Foxx? So I'll end this video with this. Remember when she first dropped the case on Jussie Smollett and they said they were going to investigate her? She openly welcomed an investigation. It's funny now she's coming back with a stipulation to welcoming this investigation. Let's listen.
Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx is pushing back against having a special prosecutor review how her office handled the Smollett case. 2 weeks ago, Foxx welcomed an independent probe, but she only wants the Cook County Office of the Independent Inspector General to handle it. Foxx has filed a petition in court arguing 2 reviews would interfere with one another. Now, Foxx filed a separate motion to quash subpoenas for her and her top assistant to appear in court tomorrow.
Now,
This just shows how fake.
from this video, I hope you connect the dots in knowing that, as I've said, a lot of these people are connected. They all come from high, powerful people financing them. So with that being said, if you can't peep the corruption, it just ain't for you to see. But clearly, Kim Foxx is connected to George Soros, who's connected to the CIA and the FBI. And even though the CIA is not supposed to be doing anything in USA, they still are. They're experimenting on us still to this day. They're running their mind control programs, and they're successfully brainwashing a lot of people. So at the end of the day, I hope whatever side you're on, you see that this case is completely corrupt. Period. So I'll end this video here. And for all those people that have asked me about supporting the channel, I don't really plan on setting up anything with YouTube or setting up anything donation wise. If you feel so in your heart, you could always send it to my Cash App. And I appreciate everybody that does recognize that this does take a lot of time searching all this information. So I do appreciate those that suggest it, and this is my way of showing it. I really don't care if anybody does or not. I'm still going to push out the videos to the best of my ability. Have a great day.